Hello and welcome to Color Conversations. My name is Camilla Avant and I lead Color as its Director of Diversity Programs. We are so excited today to introduce our guest. We have Carla Moore. Carla is a transformational leadership coach and the author of Crash, Leading Through the Wreckage, Using Personal Power to Transform Your Leadership. Welcome, Carla.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I've been so excited to talk to you and to Color again, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla. Now, Carla, we all at Color know about you since you graced our All-Inclusive Award stage in December of last year. But I would love for you to tell our audience more about you and your work.
Thank you for that. So I just finished a 22-year career at HBO this past November. Last year was my last year. 22 years. I started out as an entry-level sales trainer and finished as Vice President of Sales Strategy in New York. And I started in Atlanta as the entry-level trainer. And it's funny because I'm back in Atlanta now. So once I resigned from HBO, I moved to Atlanta to start this next chapter. And this next chapter was, I was getting a calling, Camila, I was getting this calling to contribute on a higher level to the world, to serve others. And I knew that what I needed to do for the world, I could not do it behind a desk. So after my career at HBO finished in New York and had my book done, I started to see the response to the book. And I realized it was time. It was time to step out into my entrepreneurial desires and goals and wishes. Probably I've had them for over 20 years. So to be able to step into what I've been wanting for myself and wanting to do to help others, serve others, I did it. And that's where I am today. So becoming a speaker, a leadership author, a leadership coach, and a life coach, a transformation coach, is what I'm doing right now full time. And I feel great. I feel great about it. We've had some humps and bumps. You know, COVID-19 has made us rethink about how we do business and how my future business would look like. But I've got some ideas. We can talk about those.
Yeah.
Where I'm going next. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know, that's so interesting. Like you said, making that conscious decision to, and a leap of faith, right? 20 years.
Oh.
20 years, you know, that was your career. You built that, you developed, you know, I'm sure learned so much and influenced so many others, and to be able to just say, you know what, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. What a leap of faith.
Yes. Every time you say leap of faith, I get goosebumps because I'm like, I really did that. I did that. It still impacts me so much because I got to the edge for about 5 years, about 5 times in the last 5 years, my last 5 years at HBO, I got close to pulling the trigger and I didn't do it. And I kept sort of being fearful about what it looked like to jump off the ledge. And I finally got to the point where you never know if you have wings or how strong your wings are until you take that leap and see where you can go. And sure enough, I do not regret one bit. I appreciate and am grateful for that incredible career I had at HBO with incredible colleagues and people who poured into me there and who taught me a lot of what I know today about leadership. So I'm grateful for that career, yes. But I'm also so happy. I don't think I've ever been more alive and more stepped into myself than doing this. I am more me doing this than I've ever been. And I wouldn't change this decision for the world.
That's powerful, Carla. And I think so many of us, you know, tapping into that passion is something that it is fearful because, you know, at the end of the day, we work for a paycheck, right? You know, everybody's got responsibilities, and to actually say, you know, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to follow my heart and really move into an area that it could work, it could not, but go along and ride the journey. So
Yes, yes,
that's,
Camila.
that's
In fact, I think my post today, I think it's my sister, we posted today my passion quote. You know my 3P equation:
I know
passion,
yes,
purpose equals power. And my quote, a simple quote today, I believe on social today, was simply, life is nothing without passion. And so then we talk a little bit about, we've got to get to the source of it. I'm sure we'll have more conversations later during this discussion about it, and it'll continue to come up, because passion is the driver. Passion is the fuel that starts the engine.
right.
And if we don't know what that is, then we're stalled out. We're stalled out, or we're running in circles, or we're just stuck looking for a breakthrough, just stuck in transition, looking for a breakthrough. But the clues to passion, the clues breaking out of that, is getting clarity and awareness around who you are, what you're here to do, and what you're in it for. And passion is at the very core of that. So yes, we'll talk more about how people get to passions.
Absolutely.
And begin identifying and working toward bringing them to life in your everyday life, and not just the thought you have or something that you want to do, but actually doing it.
Absolutely. And,
but fear is real. Fear is real, though.
Fear is real. And like you said, one of our theme this year is actually breakthroughs. I love how you brought that into, your last commentary, because we know that as African-American women, there's so many breakthroughs that we either have done, need to do personally, professionally, as a woman of color, you're breaking through, and you have done it throughout your whole career of moving from entry level to senior leadership levels at HBO. So there's so many breakthroughs that you had in your professional career and in your personal life. And you break through to transition from, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to, follow my passion and really move in a space where, I'm going to tap into what my strengths are and just fear and break through those naysayers who might say, like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? You work for a great company. You're, one of the, the leading African-American women doing what you're doing at HBO, and breaking through those thoughts of other people and expectations of others. So, I love how you tied in and all of that, and you really reflect that in your book.
And do you know what fueled that? See, breakthroughs and progress is progressive. There are certain things, so you start small. People say, you just became vice president, overnight. No, and even having the confidence to know that I could move throughout even the company. I worked in HR for 2 years as head of talent acquisition, and I didn't have a formal HR background. And when I was asked to lead talent acquisition for the East Coast, I had those moments of fear, but I knew that I could get it done because I already had a track record of breaking through. And one of those first breakthroughs was getting my MBA. I knew I wanted to do it. And I did it while working full time. And after I got my MBA, I went from 300 pounds to triathlete. I knew I needed to personally fit into a self, a frame, my body. I wanted to feel comfortable in that, and I wasn't that, and I had that breakthrough. Yes. So then I got through an MBA. Then I became a triathlete, all 300 pounds of triathlete in 1 year. Wow. Then I bought a house in Chicago. Then I took another promotion. Teams started getting bigger, and I started building more and more confidence. And so that's why it's possible for everyone. Mm-hmm. Even if you just start back and look at college graduation, that's an achievement and accomplishment. And a lot of times we don't stop and stand in the space of gratitude for what's already been given to us and what we've already done, when that's the very fuel that's going to take us to the next level. Yes. So identifying and celebrating those wins and breakthroughs when we have them fuel you for the next level of breakthroughs and wins.
Celebrate the little ones, right? Because those little ones are all milestones. You're absolutely right, Carla.
Yes, ma'am.
And now let's talk crash. Give it, and this, your book, I have a signed copy. I'm proud to announce. But given all that's just transpired in these last few months with COVID, these last few weeks of racial unrest, I would say this
Yeah.
is a wake-up call, right? And you indicate in your book there these crash moments, and these are serious crash moments that we're living through. They're transformations in disguise. So, how would you say your book and some things in your book that you wrote about apply to individuals who are really reeling from the crash moments now? And
Mhm.
how can you apply, give us, some tidbits of how they can really, transform during these.
Yes. And use this and activate this in their personal lives.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you made that correlation, because immediately when the George Floyd incident happened and the unrest started immediately, I knew then, I said, sitting on my sofa, watching it all, I said, this is a crash moment for
Yes.
America. This is a crash moment for the world. And then when I looked up, and there's London protesting, and there's people all over the country, even Syria was protesting it. I mean, this flashpoint is a crash moment. And yes, it is an opportunity for transformation. And I wrote this years ago. The phrase is, crash moments are transformations in disguise. And I use it. I got that from my own crash moment. This notion that when you hit something big in life, or something big happens in your life, and in the book, we were mainly talking about crash moments in people's personal lives, which still works today. But divorce, bankruptcy, loss of job, Passover for promotion, these crash moments where you have, in that instant, a pivotal moment to go left, fuel yourself up, fuel yourself forward, or go right and fall further down. And people can use these moments to get clear on, I now have a decision to make, to do something great, do something different. When this thing hit, I knew then. It is now the time. We now have this moment to do something different, to be different, to make different decisions, in our personal life, to get clear, make different decisions on how we are going to be in the world, or how someone, or you, him, her, is going to show up in the world, how I'm going to be different, to show up at work, what new decisions I'm going to make.
Yes.
Maybe I had, from hiring, and if we're talking corporate, this is it cuts across every sector. Corporate, are we hiring different? Could we promote different? Could we structure different? Do our leadership staff and our leadership ranks need to look different?
Yes.
If 30% of your consumer base is Black, and you only have a 0.5% leadership in your ranks, time to do something different.
Yes.
And we're here to do it. This moment is it. This moment is it.
No, you're so right. All of that and more. You're so right. And there's so many tidbits that from your book we can apply. And one of the things, as I always like to talk about women of color, and especially those who are in those struggling right now, or even entrepreneurs, looking for ways to transform themselves and creative ways to rebrand themselves in this normal, right? Like you said, like all of a sudden, COVID came, you're in Atlanta, and you're an entrepreneur, and your whole business model has changed, but you're able to pivot. And so how do you adjust? And again, take that crash moment that you're experiencing as an entrepreneur and just say, okay, got to shift. This is a transformation moment. This is a crash moment, and really put yourself forward in this new environment that we're going to be dealing with for a long time.
You are so right. And before we started taping, you and I, we were having a little conversation before, and literally I just left HBO in November, was set and ready to roll, to start hitting the stage as a leadership speaker, an executive coach. And all of those contracts were gone in 2 weeks. And I had it all set and ready to roll. And for the last month, that was my crash moment for my business. So here we are. What do I do? And so if being in a room with 500,000 people, 2,000, talking to people on stage, sharing this message hoping to touch, engage, and inspire others on stage. How can I do it virtually? So my business is moving from stage speaking to virtual speaking. Now my promotions and marketing that we're working on now, my team and I, how are we finding the organizations who are continuing to have conferences virtually, or are they thinking about them? Re-engaging those organizations who have these live conferences staged and ready to go. I had my first international gig booked to Bucharest. I was going to be a keynote for an HR conference in Bucharest. Gone. Not only was that going to be fun, it was going to be my first in person. But what ended up happening, 3 months later, they turned it into a global, international virtual conference. And I still spoke from right here.
Right.
So this idea, hit the nail on the head. This idea of rebranding, reimagining, re-engineering who you can be, even at work or at home, at play, at school, in life. What skills and talents do you have that perhaps you haven't tapped into yet? What can you bring to the table? Again, at school, at work, at church, life, at play. What can you bring to reimagine and re-engineer your future? The time is now. We're here. Time's up. Time out. This is it. We're here, and it's time for people to take action. Not just talking about it, but we are now in a time of action.
Absolutely.
And doing things differently in order to get different results.
Absolutely. And at the end, we need to take this time to really make sure that we get different results, right? This is a historic moment, and, you know, we need to get it right. We need to everybody take action, tap into your strengths. You know, that's just great words of wisdom, Carla. And so, you know, we know you have crashed. Are you thinking about writing another book?
I am. Now, what's funny is, let me take a sip on this. So about 3 years ago, my second book was going to be a dating and relationship book. Because I'm still single, and of course being in corporate and being a Black woman out here trying to figure out how to do this thing, what my own future was going to look like. There was just this high conversation around this social interaction between Black men and women, and how can we further connect? How can we further communicate in a way that's going to elevate both of us? How can just even dating? All this was in my head. That's not important to me now, and hasn't been for the last couple of years. But writing a book is on the table, and it could be around entrepreneurship, how to help people move into starting their own businesses, giving courage, and supporting their bravery in doing so, because we know, and everyone knows this, true wealth and generational wealth is through entrepreneurship and small businesses. And women now have an opportunity. Let's look at this moment now. Mm-hmm. Now everyone's going to be people are going to be looking for vendors who are minority owned, women who are minority owned. I had a lady yesterday. She said, Carla, when you talk about using this quarantine, using this flash moment right here, the moment that we're in, I'm not so sure I want to go back and do what I was doing at work. I don't know if that's what I've been called to do. She said, I'm thinking through some things. I've been wanting to start a t-shirt business that had motivational quotes on the shirts that would inspire young people in our community to grow, go, excel. And so if there's someone that may be looking to buy t-shirts in bulk, here's a minority female-owned vendor, Black-owned, female-owned company. If someone's looking for leadership development courses and training, that's also part of my pivot. I may be moving more into helping corporations. And by the way, let me say this formally, actually. Not even may. I'm now crafting a new stream of business, and it's in cultural strategy. And me calling myself a cultural architect to help these companies begin to shift and pivot into new environments that are conducive for these open conversations that may be difficult to be had, but they need to be had. So yes, in my pivot, I've had to rethink what to do with my business. I started out thinking I was just going to speak and be a leadership speaker for all these conferences and organizations. And when really, what it's boiled down to is what skill sets, what talents, what do I have, what is already in the toolbox that I can swivel or pivot into doing something different. And those things are including, and I've said this in our earlier conversation, that I've now got to become more versed in virtual speaking, moving from stage speaking to virtual speaking. I'm going to have to drill deeper into the coaching aspect of my business. And one of the big things in building that clientele, pulling out the passion and purpose out of others so they can hit their own superpowers and live on a higher level as well. And these companies, this conversation in corporations, it's going to need to be facilitated by people to come in and have these difficult conversations between leadership and their team members. And I'm certified to do that. And I encourage corporations and companies and organizations not to think so hard about that. Find someone who's certified, get people in there and start having these conversations with employees, because people are hurting, people are lost, people don't know what to say. It's an awkward time, but jump in there.
Right.
Bravery is not an absence of fear.
Right.
Bravery is just going through it anyway to get to the other side, going through the challenges, going through the hard conversations and the hard work to get to the other side. So yeah.
Get through it to get to the other side. Well, Carla, this has been a great conversation. We're looking forward to having more conversations and really incorporating more of what you're doing into Colors events the rest of the year. So thank you for your wisdom in sharing all of your wonderful thoughts. Absolutely. And everybody, if you haven't had a chance, pick up Carla's book. You can grab it on Amazon. There she is, Carla's book. And we will also share the links and her feature article that we highlighted in our color event last year. And so beautiful. Thank you so much, Carla. And please continue to follow Color on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to learn more about our Women of Color Leadership and Empowerment Conference as we celebrate our 10th anniversary this year. Our Women of Color event engages, connects, and empowers women like Carla, the most vibrant, influential, and diverse women. And looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you at our virtual events and maybe soon our in-person events as well. So take good care, stay safe. Again, continue to inspire, challenge yourself, and take action.
Yes, thank you for having me. And anyone who wants to connect with me, I'm on all platforms at Seymour Speaks. That's Seymour Speaks. Thanks for having me. Color, I will see you soon. We will talk again. Take care, stay safe. Thank you, Camila. Thank you for having me.